Are you tired of spiraling? Something happens in your life and you start getting anxious, and next thing you know, you're thinking about the worst case scenario? Well, in this video, I'm going to teach you 3 tools from dialectical behavior therapy that can help you to stop the spiral. I'm Dr. Mary Kate Ruhan. I'm a licensed clinical psychologist, and I help emotionally sensitive people go from feeling overwhelmed and anxious to empowered. Quick reminder, this video is for educational purposes only. So if you need additional support, please reach out to a mental health provider in your area. Dialectical behavior therapy has some amazing strategies to help us regulate our emotions and stop the spiral. First and foremost, we need to observe what is happening. Observing is just noticing what is going on. It's different from thinking. It's just drawing our attention gently to either what's happening on the outside, like what we see or feel or touch or taste, or what's happening on the inside. What kind of thoughts are we having? What kind of physical sensations are we experiencing? What kind of urges are we having? And our temptation tends to be to get caught up as we're observing and judge our experiences. Like, I shouldn't be feeling this way. Or, oh, I wish I didn't have to hear this noise right now. This noise is annoying. And that judgment actually perpetuates the spiral. And so we want to just gently observe what is happening without saying that it is good or bad or right or wrong, just noticing. Now, the second thing we can do is describe what's either going on the outside or on the inside. So put words to what is happening. Now, we tend to automatically put language to whatever we notice. You know, if we see someone walking by with a frown on their face, we automatically might say, oh, that person's angry. We put words to what is happening. We want to describe exactly what we are observing. So for example, I might be observing that I have the thought, this guy is angry, or observing something about the way he walks, or if he says something, but getting really clear on what can I notice in my environment or notice on the inside without judging it, without interpreting it, without making assumptions about it. And finally, what we can do is practice opposite action. So if we're spiraling, it probably means that we have a big emotion that's kind of taken over, and all of our thoughts are related to that emotion. So for example, say I failed an exam and I feel so sad about it. And I start to spiral, like, oh my gosh, I failed this exam. That means I'm going to fail the class. And if I fail the class, then I'm never going to graduate from college. If I never graduate, I'm not going to have a family. And we go on and on and on. We start spiraling, right? So what we want to do is we're already observing what's going on. So we're noticing these thoughts are coming up. We're noticing, like, I just want to get under the covers. This is too overwhelming. This is stressful. We're having this whole experience that we're observing. We might describe it. Okay, I'm having the feeling of sadness, and now I'm having the feeling of anxiety. And then we want to ask ourselves, what is this emotion telling me to do? So, for example, if I'm feeling sad about my exam, before I start getting anxious about my future, I can check in with that sadness and say, what is this sadness telling me to do? Well, it's telling me to go hide under the covers and not get up for the rest of the day. One trick is to do the opposite of what the emotion is telling you to do. So if my sadness is telling me to hide and get under the covers for the rest of the day, what if I do the opposite? The opposite of hiding and getting under the covers is going out, being visible, and interacting with people. And even though it's really, really hard because our emotion is telling us, no, this is your sadness, get under the covers. It's potentially really, really strong. Notice what's happening and say, oh, wait a minute, that's not effective. If I go get under the covers, I'm going to spiral really, really hard. And so instead, we make this difficult choice to do the thing that's a little bit more uncomfortable. And usually when we practice opposite action, the spiraling starts to slow down. The intensity of the emotion gets less and less and less. And we've kind of put a temporary pause on this spiral that was getting out of control. So try it out. Let me know in the comments how it worked. And if you're interested in more strategies, feel free to subscribe to the channel.